Hello, YouTube. So you can tell by the video that, or if you're, didn't check the title, you're going through my playlist, whatever, on the channel. Obviously, this isn't a review or a top 10 list or anything else. It's just kind of a personal video. Nothing's going on. This isn't like I'm depressed or I got a new job or anything like that. Got hair in my mouth. So I'm at 100 videos, or a little over at this point, on my channel. So first of all, thank you to everyone who subscribed and shared and watched and laughed and commented and hated and whatever else you want to do. Thank you so much. I was actually going to do, for my 100th video, I was going to do one of these and just kind of do an update on the channel and other things and blah blah. Because I do like doing these kind of personal videos as well, in addition to doing the reviews. So, what is this about? I don't really have a title for it yet, so I'll be curious to see what I eventually call this thing. Alright, so let's start, I guess, at the beginning. It is March 3rd, 2017. That's where we are. A lot of things been going on, I guess, lately, around me, in my life. May as well mention it's kind of a review, I suppose. I did just finish watching Master of None, Season 1, Aziz Ansari's show, which I've seen before. I binge-watched it when it first came out. If you haven't seen Master of None, go do that. It's fantastic. It's like 8 episodes, very short, very fun. Best way I can describe it is it's kind of like if girls met Louis, maybe. Could be a way to describe it. It's not quite as graphic or cringy or obnoxious as Girls tends to be. Not as icky. Girls seems to be like this portrait of like you're being in your 20s and how life is a fucking mess. And it's not as arty or dark as Louis can get, but it's that kind of mix of like being in your 20s and relationships and growing up and stuff like that Girls has. And it's also got this kind of just like observational tone that Louis has to it, while also being a fairly realistic portrait of, life, I guess. So, yeah, go watch Master of None. A big thing in Master of None, aside from the central relationship, I suppose, that kind of hooks the whole season together, is moving on, changing, what does the future look like? There's a lot of talk from older, from parents and grandparents about what life could have been and isn't. There is a lot of talk about people moving to different countries, whether it's the main character's parents were immigrants, or it's wanting to move to Tokyo and learn a thing, or it's, I think someone says they're just going to New Zealand just to go, something like that. So there's a big theme about, like, traveling and not necessarily being, like, having stasis in your life. So, I just been thinking about stuff. The season ended, and as always, when you finish a television show, there's always that bit of like, well, now what do I do? Like, what the hell? There's no more episodes. What do I do next? And, I could go walk the dog. I've written trivia for the day. I could go clean up my room, and there's things to do, obviously. There's always things to do. But I was just feeling a little, like, fucked up. Not anxious or stressed. Just, like, wanting to talk, I guess. And obviously I'm a writer, and in the past when feeling like this, I've written, a personal essay or a blog post, not really sure what you call them, something that's true story kind of stuff, like Davey Rothbart does, that kind of thing. Like if you want to go to the blog, adolescentconceptions.wordpress.com, Hit Me is a good example of that. That's the same kind of thing happened. I was at Circle K and started thinking about stuff and ended up telling a bunch of stories about how my dad hit me in the face and my friends hit me in the face, and like that's kind of the arc of that storyline is the times I've gotten punched in the face. But for whatever reason, I didn't really feel like writing this time. I will say that I do have a screenplay planned. I started it, basically, a little bit. And it's a little different. It's something that I actually want to try and shoot. If you've read any of the screenplays, which again, most of them are posted at adolescentconceptions.wordpress.com, thank you, first of all, for reading them. But also, you can tell that a lot of them are fairly ambitious for, like, independent features. Well, not maybe for independent, but for one-man independent features. I don't have a crew. I'm sure if I wrangled my friends together, I could find somebody who could help me do the things that I can't do on my own. But for me, it just doesn't feel realistic to try and make any of those screenplays at the level I'm at now. there's a lot of locations. Some of them have big action sequences. On a very basic level, they're very wordy, dialogue-heavy screenplays, and I don't have friends who are actors. And, there's something to be said of, like, fuck it, just go do it. Who cares how amateurish it is? The spirit of the thing. And, I embrace that. That's why I'm doing this YouTube thing I do. But, I love those screenplays, and if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. So, that all being said, I have a screenplay plan that's kind of... The thought process behind it is it's something I can shoot almost entirely by myself. I don't need... There's no other cast members, not to say that I'm not going to have help from my friends. Sorry, Willow. She's licking herself. I don't want to have that snuffling dog sound on the video. Anyway, so I do have a screenplay that I could go write, and I've been putting off for whatever reason. But I don't really feel like it. Maybe because the next scene that I'm writing in there, I want to write it chronologically. I haven't jumped around. I haven't written anything out of sequence in quite some time. But yeah, the next scene is a breakup scene. And I just don't feel like writing that right now. I don't feel like getting into the back and forth, semi-funny, hopefully brutal, hopefully kind of breakup. I don't want to write that scene right now. I'm feeling a little more introspective, a little more monologue-esque, hence the camera. And I didn't write a blog post because I don't really have a topic in mind. This isn't like, I could do a journal entry. I had to get a journal. I got a journal for my birthday, belated birthday present, but I'm not really much of a journal type of guy, so hey, vlog, whatever you want to call it. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I'm trying to, is there a timer? Almost 8 minutes in, I haven't really said anything yet, but it's just, I guess, an update on my life. I want to have something I can look back on, maybe someday as well. Or if I do, if I knock wood, do I have any wood? If I do get to become the kind of filmmaker with fans and a following, this would be something interesting for them to go look back on. In the same way you can go watch like Shyamalan's early films, something like that. So yeah, maybe it's just kind of a portrait time capsule kind of thing. I'm still at Circle K. Circle K. Wow, I jumped back a year when I first started doing this. That's the other thing. I have that Facebook app, whatever, that shows you your posts from this day. However many years in the past, and a year ago is when I started doing Dear Kevin, which I will get back to at some point. And that's when I kind of started taking YouTube a little more seriously. So yeah, I've been thinking about, like, it's been a year. Where am I at? Not at Circle K, thank God. I meant to say I'm still at Meridian Hive. Hey, Meridian Hive. And happy. I still love that job. We got trivia tonight. I'm excited about it. There's an event tomorrow. Excuse me. There's an event tomorrow at the tasting room. Like, I'm doing deliveries. I'm excited about that, but also, Kevin, my best friend, moved to Colorado recently, and I'm pretty positive I'd like to go to Colorado. So there's change in the winds for me, kinda. Not that I want to, like, leave Austin, or, like, I have this burning desire to get the fuck away, or even, like, that I want to quit my job. It's not any of that. Like, I'm happy where I am completely. It's just, there's something about, like, it's cheaper. Cheaper in Colorado. I like the idea of having a house. I like the idea of getting out of the heat. And, Austin, when I moved back here from Los Angeles, it was never meant to be like, I'm permanently back in Austin. It was just kind of, it was a way to kind of reset after the bad experiences in Los Angeles. And I've done that at this point. So I think I'd like to kind of go, continue my life someplace different. Someplace, I've spent so much of my life in Texas. Spent so much of my life with the same people. Kevin and Rachel, known them since high school. So that's, and granted I'm only 28, but still, like, a decade is a long time. That's the other fucking thing. My 10-year high school reunion's coming up. And that's got me thinking a lot about, the people I went to high school with, whether it's friends like Kevin and Rachel or other just, like, sporadic people who I bump into or get texts from, Facebook messages from, what the fuck, like, we used to go to high school together. That's weird. What's your life like? So yeah, I am thinking about going to Colorado. I keep calling it a 3/4 baked plan. It's a little more than half baked. Hopefully the Hive, we're trying to expand. We're already in, don't want to make too much of a Meridian Hive commercial. Not the least of which is that I don't want to get in trouble. I feel like I might be in trouble for that. But we are expanding. I can totally say that, we're in San Diego. I think we're in Oregon. We have plans to do other things. Hopefully by the end of the year we'll be coast to coast. And I know that Colorado is on the list for sure. It's a really cool city, really cool state, big brewing culture. They already have some mead there, so we wouldn't have to kind of do as much legwork to try and explain what mead is. And it would be really, really fucking cool to kind of move to Fort Collins which is near Dallas and is a college town and has a big brewery community. It would be cool to just kind of like move to a new city and still keep working at the Hive and kind of be part of that expansion. I think that'd be really exciting. And in the meantime, I could do something else. I write trivia for the Hive. I've made friends with a trivia master at Geeks Who Drink, and he recommended I do some writing for them. And of course, that's something you can do anywhere, anywhere in the country. I can write rounds, trivia rounds, and submit them. So that's interesting, and it seems cool. And then there's the other big thing, which is I've submitted Enjoy the Show, which I haven't posted onto the blog. If you want to read Enjoy the Show, let me know in the comments or something like that. At some point, I'll do a whole video about it, I guess. But it's still so new. I only finished it about a year ago. It's still so new that it hasn't had enough time to sit on the shelf and collect dust, and like doing a video or putting it up on the blog right now just seems like that blog is kind of about like this is what I used to do. These are my old stuff. This one still feels a little bit shiny, and to that end, I've submitted it to a couple contests, and one of them is the Nickel Fellowship. That's the big one, and I won't hear back from them until like October. It's a pretty stressful few months where I'll just be going around living my life, and then it'll occur to me like, oh yeah, your whole world could change in October. The other one I submitted to Screencraft, that one they said they're going to announce in February, and I got an email from them on February 28th saying, hey, we're going to announce in March. So I was very, very tense and nervous when I opened that email, and that I might be rejected. Historically speaking, I've been rejected from every contest. By the numbers, most people are rejected. But to find out that I wasn't rejected, but I'm also not accepted, that there's still more time to wait, that's stressful as well. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that's kind of just going on right now, and that's just me in my personal life. It's not my place to talk about my friends who are not on YouTube, who are not have not decided to kind of share their life with the world. But suffice it to say, like the people I can talk about, like Ramon, you've met. Hopefully, go watch those videos. I know they're long. Ramon was the guy with me in the top 10 movies of the year and our Oscar picks and stuff like that. He is going to slap me in the face, I promise. I think I can say Ramon probably won't give a shit if I say Ramon travels a lot. He bounces around. He's fairly nomadic, and he's also older. He's got about a decade on me. So there's a lot of experience there. There's a bit of like an older brother, semi-paternal relationship. Maybe. Granted, I have issues with my dad, so anytime I meet any kind of older male figure, I'm sure I have a little bit of a paternal thing going on. Like, I want to learn from you, and blah, blah, blah. So Ramon is, like I said, he bounces around a lot. He's traveled all over the world. He's never in any one place too long. Nothing really permanent besides his passions, but like no career type stuff that like, oh, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. And I haven't seen him in like 6 years. And he came back to Austin. We've been hanging out a lot. And in a few weeks, he's going to go to Europe, I think is where he's going. And I'm going to miss Ramon because he's been like, he's kind of my big movie friend. He's also just like a good buddy, I can have drinks with and bullshit with and stuff like that. And he isn't like tied down to like a 9-to-5 job in the same way Rachel or a lot of my other friends here in Austin are. So there's something that's kind of nice about like staying up till 3 a.m. talking about Kurosawa, which not a lot of other a lot of my friends can do. So I'm gonna miss Ramon, but like he's also someone in my life right now where I'm very aware of the fact that like it's ephemeral. It's just go out and have fun, do what you love, go to Europe for however long, and like that's the thing. He doesn't have a plan for when he gets to Europe. Not sure when he's gonna go back. So I hear, whenever we're hanging out, we're at a bar and we're meeting new people, I hear him talk a lot about traveling, and I hear other people he's met, people he's meeting for the first time, talk about how envious they are of it, and the way he talks is like, just go do it. It's really simple. There's also Kevin, who again doesn't really give a shit if I talk about it on the internet. He's very, always been kind of just like where he's at is where he is, sort of a thing. He chose Colorado because he likes rocks. He loves Colorado, and he could afford to go. And he applied for a gig recently. But yeah, that's my best friend, and he's just kind of all over the place. Doesn't have the same ambition that I do, where it's like, I want to be a filmmaker, or, I want to get married by the time I'm 35, or any of that kind of stuff. I don't have that number, by the way. Just an example of like life ambitions. And then there's Rachel, who's traveling a lot right now. She's going to go to New Zealand next week. She's going through crazy, kind of a whirlwind year, 2016. Go figure, of course it was. So yeah, there's just a lot of people in my life who are going through stuff, and Master of None's such a good show that it started me thinking about stuff. So I wanted to get on here and just kind of ramble for a bit. Which feels good. Maybe I'll make this, if you guys like it, guys and gals, if you like it, maybe I'll make this kind of a weekly thing. George's Journal kind of thing. I will say, once again, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I know I don't really get a lot of comments. I know I get views, which I appreciate, but, you know, I think part of the reason I wanted to do this way is that I wanted to make it a more of a conversation with people. Not some people I know, but if I know you, well done. you can comment too, but I'd like to hear from my viewers out there. You know, throw up in the comments, like, how are you feeling about 2017? Do you have, like, this weird contentment / a need to go someplace else? Because that's what it is. Like, I'm thoroughly content. Like, I love my apartment. I got a dog. My job's pretty good. I can afford my rent. I'm still writing. But there's also this thing where it's like, I want to go over there. And it's not, like, any kind of specific... You know, it's not like moving to Colorado is going to change my life beyond the fact of location. It's like I don't have like a big like, oh, I'm going to go to Colorado and do X, Y, and Z and be a filmmaker. It's just like, it's a cool state. I've been there. I like it. It's cheap, and my friend lives there. So Colorado, right? And it, you know, as bonus points, it ties into Meridian Hive as well. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you in the comments about like how you're feeling about being in your mid to late 20s, if my viewers are indeed that age. How you're feeling about the permanence / impermanence of life, and roots, putting down roots and living in a place and all that kind of stuff, you know. There's a big thing in Master of None. I keep gesturing over there. The TV's that way. Master of None, there's a whole recurring thing about, you know, when you're at this age, 28, 29, 30, whatever, the things you're doing can very quickly become the things you do forever. Like, that's it. Like, whoever you're dating when you're in your 30s, you know, you just end up being with that person for a long time. Whatever job you have when you're in your 30s, that ends up being the thing you do for decades. Wherever you live, that's where you're going to live. And I've always kind of rejected that whole notion. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It's really not as complicated as it seems. The trick is knowing what it is you want to do. And in my case, I want to be a filmmaker, but, you know, I'm either too scared or too unwilling to compromise to make a movie that I'm not proud of, so I haven't really done that. But, you know, when I hear people talk that way, not just in fictional television shows, but actual people in real life talking about, like, not feeling trapped, but feeling a sense of permanence about their life, I'm like, I don't really have that right now. Like, I like who I am, and I like what I want to do. Those things aren't going to go anywhere. And I like my dog, and I like my friends, and I'm hopefully going to hold on to them for as long as I can. But, you know, I've lived in a bunch of different cities, you know. I've changed apartments once a year, every year, until recently. This is the longest I've lived at one place since I was living with my mother. You know, I've had jobs that last about a year, year and a half. Not because, like, I got fired or they weren't... Well, Circle K was terrible. But just because it's like, you know, there's always something new to do. And because filmmaking is the ultimate goal, I don't feel beholden to the job and like, oh, well, I'm going to fuck up my career if I don't stay or anything like that. Meridian Hive is the exception. I would, like... Meridian Hive is such a cool company, and the product is so good, and the people are so good. I can see myself working at Meridian Hive for like 30 years. You know, if the screenwriting thing doesn't work out for me, I could see myself spending my life as a Meridian Hive employee or manager or whatever it ends up being. You know, I've said it many times. Like, if you know, assuming I do, once again, knock wood, assuming I do get to like sell screenplays and be a director and have that kind of money, I'd like to buy the Hive, or a big chunk of it anyway, and make that, you know, one of my businesses. I really love that company, and that's a weird thing for me, to be at a place where I like my coworkers, I like my job, like I don't dread going to work. On days where I'm not working, I'm not just like at home, zonked out in front of the television, relieved to not be at work. I'm like kind of anxious, like I want to get back there. Today, you know, I've been up. I didn't get a lot of sleep during this week, so I slept way too long yesterday. Meaning I was up at 5 a.m. this morning, and I wrote my trivia questions out, and now I'm just like, well, shit, I don't have anything to do until trivia tonight. And that's, realistically, that's what I want. Like, I really want to go to the Hive and say hey to the coworkers and make jokes and do my trivia questions and answer questions about, you know, what is this stuff? I'm really looking forward to work tonight, so that's kind of a cool thing. I should be writing more. You know, I don't want to give too many details about this new script. I don't have a title for it yet. The one I want to shoot, I don't have a title for it yet, even. But, you know, yeah. I'm 20 minutes in. This is probably getting a little long. At this point, I'm reaching the length of an episode of Master of None. Hey, it's Willow. Willow's coming to make a cameo. So I guess I should wrap it up. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to call this a journal type of thing. It's probably more traditional vlog. I feel like most vlogs are just this kind of personal update things. I know I didn't open anything, it's not an unboxing and it's not a review, but you know, it's just kind of what I'm doing. If you guys and gals, my viewers out there, give a shit, which most of the stuff I talk about, most of my reviews mention my life pretty heavily, so hopefully this wasn't boring for you out there. Hopefully I said something worthwhile or interesting. Like I said, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but please, if you're of a mind, I'd very much like to get some comments on this one. I'd like to hear, you know, if you've traveled, if you have, you know, how you feel about complacency, I guess is what it is. Is complacency a bad thing? Is being content, just content, is that enough? Do you feel a drive to like go out there and change? Or more importantly, for the comments, a better question maybe for the comments might be, what are some big changes you've made in your life? What are some big things you've done? Whether it's deciding to get married, deciding to get divorced, you know, moving to a different country, different state, changing jobs, changing careers. I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to hear what are some big things you've done. If you've got a YouTube channel, by all means, post a video response. I'd like to get a conversation going on this one. Don't know if I will. It might just be kind of like, you know, peeing into the wind a little bit. But that's all of creating. Everything you do when you're a creator is just kind of throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks. So, thank you for listening to me ramble if you made it this far. And I'll see you next time with more Raging George. I've got more of those car vlogs. I've got Trolls. Spoiler alert, the Trolls vlog is going to be a lot of fun, I think. God, I hated that fucking movie. So if you're into my regular shit, don't worry. I promise I'm getting back to reviews. And I have some plans to have some more polished, not just in front of a camera. I have some more polished videos in mind as well. And if you like this one, I really enjoyed doing it. If you like this kind of thing where I'm just kind of talking about what's on my mind. You're such a camera hog. Fucking dog. If you like this video, where I'm just kind of talking about what's on my mind, like I said, let me know, and I'd be happy to do it again. I might do it anyway, because it's therapeutic. I just kind of enjoy doing this. Enjoyed it a lot. But, yeah, let me know in the comments, so hopefully I'm not just putting out content nobody gives a fuck about. And, yeah, that'll be it. If you're in Austin, come by Trivia tonight. Like I said, it's March 3rd. Come by Trivia tonight at Meridian Hive Meadery. Check us out at meridianhivemeadery.com, and you'll get more of my bullshit in person. Please like and subscribe and share. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. My name is George. My name is George Efta, and my Instagram is KipCarson37. And you can find my blog at adolescentconceptions.wordpress.com. Like and subscribe. YouTube makes us say that. All right. Bye.